Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have about 5 to 6 articles for this video, or at least topics. And the first one has to do with Zelensky, who claims that they don't have money to equip their military brigades. First, he's going to give us some numbers of how many brigades they actually equipped out of how many they need. You don't do this in a war. You don't tell the enemy that you are poorly armed. But you do this for the baboons to give him more billions. That's the whole goal and the point of this announcement. And I'm going to point out, or at least I will make you aware of how the media portrays these clowns' face when he begs for something, when he's hurt, when he's happy, when he's strong, never when he's actually his regular state of pussy. All right, let's go to the next topic that we have here. Then I'm going to go back and discuss in detail. Denmark, the big country of Denmark, supplies Ukraine with a second batch of F-16s. So they supplied already the first one, and they will supply the second one. Because the F-16s, it seems like they're doing a great job, which is they get blown up pretty fast. The first operation, the first down. Next one, and how many others possibly they were downed and we don't know about, or maybe they were not used anymore because the Western masters or Al Capone told them, don't employ these guys anymore, they get shut down, and then our Western baboons will not buy them anymore. So our sponsors, the military industrial complex arms manufacturing companies, will not like that because they will lose money against other companies from the other side of the spectrum. So we find out here that France and Germany could have a little Frexit and Germxit, which is little by little the will of the people maybe being really hurt by the so-called democratic forces, which are the elected officials. Remember, we have a representative democracy, which is, I want to happen this, and I'm going to vote for the person who says is going to accomplish this. But when the guy or whomever gets elected, he's not going to do what I voted for the person to go to accomplish this. So if the population, let's say in an opinion poll, says 80% of this country wants outside of the European Union, and the politicians don't do that, that means democracy doesn't work. That kind of democracy. Why? Because the elected officials, that means they know something else than the baboons, the electorate, doesn't know. Or they just don't do what actually the will of the people is. I'm going to show you 2 examples, France and Germany, where the population wants something and the government don't give them. And they just fake it, like an orgasm. Next one. Next topic is Putin gets real and he is increasing the size of the Russian military. That means it makes it from here, a little bit here, and then a little bit here, and a little bit there. Now remember, this is not a general mobilization. That would be about 30 million people, Russians. So that's not what it is. But nevertheless, he increases it. That could show a few things, obviously. Another topic, the Russians attacked Ukraine with a relatively great number of drones last night. And the Ukrainians destroyed a lot of them, maybe all of them. And the last article, it's a little, wake-up call for the guys who say, well, the Russians are not producing weapons anymore, are just, their stockpiles are going down, because they say it for political reasons. Sometimes the Russians are bad. That means your guns and your money that you sent to us to die with, all right, work. And then when they need more money and more guns, they say, oh, the Russians, are very good, their weapons, we don't have any more brigades to arm. So that gets me to the first topic coming from Ukrainska Pravda. Ukraine cannot equip even 4 out of 14 required military brigades. And he's hurt. See, he's hurt, right? That's the signal he's hurt. That's the one, right? I'll look up to you. Yeah, he's hurt. I mean, he wants the Ukrainians to fight for the rest of the world. Not he. He's okay. And you say this reported by Ukrainska Pravda. That means you need money, and that tells you what? It's untrue, because the Russians will hear it as well. President Zelensky has said that Ukraine is currently unable to equip even 4 of the 14 needed brigades due to lack of weapons. I wonder when people eventually, even the baboons, will say, come on now, come on. I mean, don't you have enough? Didn't you win the war already? I mean, come on. I can't watch the movie now, Jesus Christ, or the stupid show over there, because this guy wants money all the time. What do you want to do with the money? Change the money? All right, let's move on. Zelensky, in an interview with American journalist, he's a journalist, he's a system operative, Farid Zakaria, or Zakaria, however you want to say it, the full version of which was published, we don't care, and I'm quoting. First, it's going very slowly, delivery of aid from partners. That means it's your fault. Second, we need 14 brigades to be ready. As of now, we do not have that. From this package of brigades, we did not equip even 4. What? 4 out of 14 to be ready? That means you're very much not ready. Zelensky noted that during the 8-month pause that preceded the U.S. Cat, what? Cat! Stepped on wrong buttons over there. Always. All right. Let's go back to... I have here there you go. My laptop, and I'm reading, and it just walks through over the keyboard, because that's the way cats are, I guess. All right. So he noted, Zelensky's time, that 8 months paused during the 8-month pause that preceded the U.S. Congress's decision to help Ukraine help. All of the country's reserves were used up, and in the meantime given to the criminal cartels that will eventually settle scores with the people in the West. We used whenever they don't like something. And I'm quoting, we used all we could. Good for you, you're a big spender. Spend a little time with me, like Shirley Bassey, our Welsh fantastic singer. We have moved what we had in reserves and what we had in storages or in reserves brigades, because we need them now. We took all their weapons. We need them that now. Remember, Zelensky's times, the guys are doing this way. You can help them how much you want. Yesterday, the day before, the week before, the months before, all the time. And they will come today and say, hey, you don't do anything for me. And say, what are you talking about, Joshua? I did last week, I did yesterday, I did a week ago, I did a month. Yeah, but you didn't do anything for me today. We need them now. All right, you got that? Next one. So Ukraine does, I think it lacks manpower, military people to fight. They get whatever they get from the bottom of the barrel. They get, I think, the so-called volunteers. I think they are NATO platoons, troops come to Poland, take their uniforms off, put their volunteering off, take a picture as a volunteer in case the Russians find the body, and they say, oh, that's a volunteer right there, because he says he's a volunteer. And then they crossed the border in Ukraine as compact NATO troops under the volunteer uniforms. That's what I think. We're gonna have this confirmation when they will be allowed to tell us that. Probably in about 2-3 years, after the whatever garbage ends in Ukraine. So let's see what the big country of Denmark, which somehow is very important. Do you know where Denmark is? Do you know how big Denmark is? All right, if you know, now imagine that and the Netherlands and the Baltic states are very strong countries, which require, from the Russian perspective, 1 missile, or maybe half of a missile. Anyway, right here, Ukrainska Pravda. Denmark announces provision of second batch of its F-16s to Ukraine, and the Americans will give them F-35. Why? Because the military industrial complex needs to increase its production. That is, the arms manufacturing companies in the US. That's the way it is. It is a restocking. So you sell or you just donate your garbage shit that's old, and you get new one from the providers. Who are those guys? Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, Rheinmetall in Germany, and so on. But hey, they don't donate anything to any campaigns, all right? Nothing. Let's see. Danish Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen, I don't fucking know what it is, has announced that Ukraine will receive another batch of F-16 fighter jets by the end of 2024. Why? The current ones are already blown up by the Ruskies. The minister confirmed in early August that Ukraine had received the first batch. Denmark will provide the next batch of F-16 fighters in the second half of 2024. All right, it says, as with the first delivery, neither the number of fighter jets nor the date of their arrival in Ukraine will be disclosed. It goes without saying, baboon. This is done for reason of operational security. Ooh, so secretive. The ladies of the night would like you. Copenhagen has pledged to supply 19 F-16s to Ukraine. Denmark, in partnership with the Netherlands, these guys, is leading an international fighter jet coalition which is tasked with arranging training for Ukrainian pilots. According to media reports, Ukraine is expecting to receive 20 F-16s by the end of the year. 20. They already received, had pledged 19. Remember, take this or go over the map and find Denmark and the Netherlands, and you're going to find out there are some very, very, very small countries and seemingly unimportant. Why are they used? Remember Denmark and the Nord Stream 2 and 1 pipelines? Remember Denmark and the NSA access of Meghan Markle, Jesus Christ, Angela Merkel's telephone? The Americans did it through Denmark. The Danish Danes, they opened their little communications with Europe for the Americans to access it. So Denmark is a sold country. So is the Netherlands as well. But nevertheless, and we have Geert Wilders in Netherlands, but he can't do squat. Why? The big machine is in control. He's just over there to appease a big, I would say, strata of the population. Hey, you got your victory, but nothing happens. Why? We won't let that happen. Next one, the will of the people, right? Sputnik. Over 75% of French people support reinstatement of border controls. Now, I guarantee you, if you make the same kind of, survey, you're going to find out that you're going to probably 75% of people will want out of the European Union. But if that would be the case, why don't you conduct a free and fair referenda? 2 of them, 3, or maybe just one referendum with 3 or 4 points, like immigration, closing the borders out of the European Union, or make them separate but equal. How about that one? No, they will not let that. Why? Because even the French, let's put it this way, with their infusion of French coming from all over the world, of different stripes and plaions, they are not stupid. Yeah, they have their own baboons like we all have ours, but nevertheless, they understand. But they don't, the politicians, the guys in charge of them, the elected officials, the elected representatives will not allow a direct vote. Not because they would bypass their power, but remember a clear example, and I will give it to you, that is the pension reform in France. The pension reform, all kind of, people showed up in streets, like, 2 million or 3 million, where at one point, I think it was 80% of the French population, according to surveys, opinion polls, said they were against the so-called pension reform in France, which was raising the retirement from 62 to 64, 65, something like that. So 80%. That means the will of the people was clear. Nevertheless, it was supposed to be voted in the Grand Assembly, right? And France, their official, the representatives, but it's okay. Macron, one person, took that that they did not allow them to vote. The whole, I mean, it's worse, it's bad enough that the National Assembly had to vote for something that's clear the will of the people, and then Macron takes it, signs it, sends it over, and it's all illegal through the system. He didn't do anything illegal, but it was bad. One person fucked up 80% of the French people, according to the survey, who wanted it the other way. So that's democracy, representative democracy. That tells you that guy in charge, one person, one little guy over there, he had more power than the rest of 80%, let's say, of the French people who were surveyed. Now that's democracy for you? I don't think it is. Either Macron didn't tell the population, hey, this is what's going to be, and blah, 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 and the people did not get it, or, she said, no, screw you, I have my own orders, I will do what I need to. Remember, if they have to increase the retirement age, that means their economy is screwed. Because you need more people, so you can tax more people. You need more people to work because they will produce something. So that means your economy, that means your policies, economic policies, are garbage. If your economic policy would be great, not too many people would need to work, or not work overtime, or let's say 40 hours a week and so on. Will work 10 hours a week. Be very efficient, but they're not. Why? Because their economic policies work greatly. Now we go in Germany. I'm going to find out the same baboons pretending that they have, they try to control their frontiers with the immigrants and all these guys. Germany extends temporary border controls to all 9 of its external frontiers. Don't be baboons. That's fake. This is just to appease some people that are, tend to vote with Alternative für Deutschland in Germany. So with the pendulum, if you push it too much this way, when you release it, it's going to go way up there, right? And then so on. The further you push it on one side, the further it's going to go on that one. So the same here, these guys push it too far to the left, or whatever that is, globalist, matrix. And then when it comes back, you have the alternative Germany. It also increased. So what are they going to do? They try to fool them. Well, we're going to protect temporary borders, the borders. But in the same time, we're going to get them by this is the legal ones. That they are protecting their borders here. They are having borders, and these guys are checking on law-abiding citizens that try to cross the border, not the ones coming by boat or by train allowed by their government and their policies. So this is just for the baboons to think, yeah, the government is fighting the illegal. No, they're not. It's just to appease you a little bit, because the Alternative for Deutschland is increasing its number. And I think the Alternative for Deutschland could be banned pretty soon, not only in 2 or 1, whatever they have, Bundes, whatever they have over there. They will try to do it even more, because that's the way democracy works. When people want something and you don't want what the people want, you just ban it. Freedom and democracy, it's a joke. And this is the Western Europe, there's a free world. All right, let's see how Putin increases his army. Russia Today, 16th of September 2024. Putin orders increase in size of Russian military. The president has signed a decree to set the strength of the country's armed forces to nearly 2.4 million people. President Putin has signed a decree that officially increases the number of personnel of Russia's armed forces to almost 2.4 million people, including 1.5 million servicemen. Serviceman. He must be very, very misogynistic right there. Well, he understands that one man can impregnate 100 women in a few days, all right? But not if you have one woman, she can be impregnated once in 9 months. So I think that plays a role. What do you think? So you don't want them to disappear. That's why you have these guys, which are warlike, toxic masculinity, goddamn, right? Wrong. The latest increase comes after a similar decree in December 2023, when the president boosted the number of employees in the Russian military to just over 2.2 million, including 1.3 million troops. So they got added 200,000 servicemen. That will go to, the borders, wherever they're going to go. So, do you think it's because of they're losing guys in Ukraine? Yeah, they lose guys in Ukraine as well, right? And it says, this is connected with the war that the countries of the collective West are waging, a proxy war which includes elements of indirect participation in military actions and elements of economic warfare, financial warfare, legal warfare, going beyond the legal framework, and so on. All right, it says here, an additional increase in the combat strength and number of the armed forces is an adequate response to the aggressive activities of the NATO bloc, the ministry wrote. And we have this one from Sputnik, Putin to add 2.3 million personnel to Russia's armed forces. Putin to add 2.3 million personnel. It doesn't add to, it increases. That's the right word. It increases it from 2.2 to 2 point whatever it was. 2.4. It doesn't add. Adds to. Putin to add. No. So it's wrong. I think the title. It doesn't matter. The same information here. All right. Let's find out what the Ukrainians did with the Russians' drone attack. Ukraine forum. 16th of September 2024. Air defenses down 53 Russian drones overnight. Ukraine's air defenses forces shot down 53 Shahed attack drones, and the Russians launched over Ukraine since the evening of September 15. Out of how many? 3,000? It says here that they tracked 56 drones, and they killed what? 53. So 3 drones just, lost in space. Launched from Kursk and Yeisk. And we're going to show you where those areas are. Just a second, right here. So this is the Crimean Peninsula, this is the Sea of Azov, this is Yeisk, right? Yeah, this is Yeisk. So this is where they launched them from. And then you got Kursk, which is north from here. This is right here. So they launched it from Kursk and from Yeisk, which is right here on this tip. Let's see what else these guys say here. Kursk and Yeisk. Okay, this is the main direction of the attack was Kiev region. Kiev region is right here. So they attacked from Kursk. It always does that, but doesn't come back. Mouse. Kiev, Kursk, and Yeisk over there. And the last article that gives us a little bit of an overview of the destruction that occurs in Ukraine. Over 800 guided bombs and 300 drones launched by Russia in Ukraine over the week. This is September 15th, 2024. So yesterday. 800 guided bombs, 300 drones launched. So if you just divide it by 3, you're going to find out that the big on, he's right here. He's not gonna stand down. He's right there. Irresolute guy. So here it is, my friends. Ukraine cannot equip people. Denmark and Netherlands are the promoters of weapons of mass destruction. Then over 75% of French people support reinstatement of border controls, but the elected officials, the representatives, will not listen to that. Germany extends temporary border controls of the law-abiding citizens, not of the immigrants that try to, like you try to fly out of United States of America, or coming in and see how these guys check even your asshole. And these guys cross the border and they're given all kind of shit. Anyway, Putin orders increase in size of Russian military. Correct. Then these guys, Ukrainians, air defense shot down 53 out of 56 drones launched last night by the Russians. And you have 800 guided bombs and 300 drones launched by Russia in Ukraine over the week. Zelensky says. Why? I don't know. Right here. Double E. Yiddish is for Yiddish, Zelensky Yiddish, and Zelensky Stein. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.